Kendrapara is all set to witness a high voltage contest. It's going to be a high stakes battle between the BJP's National Vice President and, interestingly, Biju Patnaik's legacy. Well, it's a pleasure to have with me Mr. Jay Panda, who is joining us today. Mr. Jay Panda, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. Traditionally, Mr. Panda, Kendrapara, in your constituency, Biju Patnaik's legacy ensures a win for the candidate. Do you think that's going to change? You have been the MP in the constituency for 10 years. What kind of change have you seen in Kendrapara?
Well, first of all, this time, there's an immense wave of support for Prime Minister Modi's leadership. The acceptance of our symbol is astronomical compared to just 5 years ago. There is also anti-incumbency against the BJD government in Odisha. You're right, Biju Babu had represented Kendrapara and other tall leaders as well, such as Ravi Rai, who was Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Kendrapara has a history where the Congress had only won it once in 1952. Otherwise, it had been various variants of the Socialists and the Janata parties. But I had won it twice with record margins.
Yes.
And I have treated it as my karma bhumi, and I have really worked very hard there. Even last time around, mine was a very last minute entry to the polls in Kendrapara. And contesting for the first time as a BJP candidate last time, we saw an increase of 400% vote share for BJP in Kendrapara. It was still not enough, but this time there is a very clear sense of support. The surveys are also showing that the people of Kendrapara want to be part of the revolution that Modi ji has brought about in India's image around the world, in India's development of the new India, the Naya Bharat, and be part and parcel of the Modi government in the third Modi government this time around.
So you foresee a massive uptick this time around, not just for Kendrapara, but also for Odisha. It was 8 out of 21 this time around. Do you predict that number doubling in these elections?
More than doubling.
More than doubling.
You know, last time itself was a big increase, because before that, in 2014, we only had one seat, BJP, and we went to 8 seats in 2019. This time it's going to be more than a doubling. We are going to have a very massive sweep in the Lok Sabha, and we are going to have a majority in the Vidhan Sabha.
But where is this confidence coming from, Mr. Panda? You have been such an integral part of Odisha politics. You have a chief minister, and he is the undisputable leader. He's been elected 5 times by the people of Odisha. They have embraced him wholeheartedly. Yet you raise questions of anti-incumbency, a word that has been unheard of in so many years in Odisha politics. I mean, the BJD has been successful in keeping anti-incumbency at bay for years on. What has changed?
The primary reason is that the chief minister whom the people of Odisha had voted for 5 years ago is not in control. Prime Minister Modi only a few days ago raised this question, that the Odisha government has been outsourced. It's obvious to anybody that observes Odisha politics. The people of Odisha in the last 5 years, and particularly the last 6 months or so, have been astounded to see the chief minister has been totally cut off, not just from the people, has been cut off from his own party. Party leaders are not able to meet him. His own chief secretary, DG of police are not able to meet him. You will see the chief minister always in the presence of only one person who used to be his principal secretary. Now he's quit and joined the party. Whether he's in a helicopter, he's just with this one person. Whether he's on stage, this one person is there with a microphone prompting him what to say. Otherwise, the videos that are coming out of the chief minister are clearly AI deepfake videos. It's not the chief minister himself making these videos or saying those things. So the person for whom the people had voted.
That's a shocking acquisition. Are you saying that everything that we hear of the chief minister, in fact, he had laughed at the prime minister's, the prime minister's prediction that on 4th of June, BJT is going to be the expiry date, and Naveen Patnaik, he was on his personal aircraft. He said the Prime Minister is daydreaming. So is that a fake video?
So there are two videos here. The video from the helicopter, again, he's being prompted by his Svengali, who's controlling him.
Mr. Pandian.
And the video that you see from his home is an AI deep fake video. You can clearly see the difference. You can see the difference in the tone, the tenor, and the challenge that has been put out to Naveen Babu, that if he could just stand up on stage and read out and just say the names of the districts, it would prove that he's in control. Now, he's not able to do that. So, there are very few and far between instances where he's actually being recorded, and that is always with his controller around, with his puppeteer, with prompts as to what to say. The other videos that you see, which he seems to be confident and saying longer sentences without interruption, those are clearly deep fake. It's very obvious to anybody, and of course it should be technically examined. But the people of Odisha have understood that very, very clearly.
Mr. Panda, I know your target of attack is at Mr. V.K. Pandian. The BJP has been consistently gunning for him. Mr. V.K. Pandian, on the other side, says that the BJP are left with no issues and therefore they indulge in such personal attacks. In fact, he claims that the BJP are so nervous and are scrambling for cover. They haven't really done anything for the state. He, in fact, even claims, very interestingly, that you don't even have enough candidates to contest the assembly elections.
This is bizarre. Actually, I will urge your voters to go through your own website and also online and look at the videos of the BJP's campaign and look at the videos of the BJD, especially Mr. Pandian, and they will figure out where the panic is. You can see the panic on his face because at his meetings, there are no public. It's only SHG workers who have been compelled to come there, and the Election Commission has already taken note of it and started issuing them strictures. You can see there is no public there. You can see they don't have leaders because everything is being said by just one or two people. On the other hand, claims that the BJP is panic. You could just look at the faces of the BJP's campaigners, starting from Prime Minister himself. All our Odisha leaders are exuding with confidence. Go online. I challenge your leaders to go online and look at the postings and look at the responses from the general people of Odisha, and they will put a lie to that claim that's being made. Let me make it very clear. The people of Odisha have figured out that here what the BJD was doing, it was trying to claim Modi government yojanas as its own. For example, the free rations that are being given to 80 crore people, including all the people of Odisha. They were trying to claim it as their own. They were trying to put stickers of their own brand on programs like PM Awas Yojana, where people get pakka houses from the Modi government funding. This has been exposed, and you can go and ask anybody in villages. They will tell you that they know that.
Mr. Panda,
no, but let me point out something else that's extremely important. In their political rationale, they have stopped some very important programs from being implemented in Odisha.
Yes, and
Ayushman Bharat.
Why is there so much of resistance to the centre's welfare
because
schemes?
the Ayushman Bharat program, which is the world's largest health scheme, provides 5 lakh rupees per family per year for any medical emergencies. So they have not implemented that. They've come up with their own state scheme which applies to a few thousand people, and 4.5 crore people are denied the Ayushman Bharat. You can see the anger and the rage among the people of Odisha because earlier they weren't aware of it. In the course of the last few years, they have become aware of it. The Prime Minister himself has come and said, here I am providing all these funds to you for Pakka homes and for your health protection, and it's not being applied here. You should question the local government.
But then you have extremely popular schemes, something that I have been hearing from the people in Odisha, during my reportage, schemes like Mission Shakti, or for that matter, Har Jal Jeevan Mission, or for that matter, the crores that have been granted for youth, and most importantly, Mr. Panda, the Biju Swasthya Kalyan Yojana.
Listen, the question must be better informed. Let me explain to you. You talked about Jal Jeevan Mission. That's a Modi government program to provide drinking water through pipes in every home. That's a Modi government program. The SHG program, you know, your viewers must be better informed that it was started by Atalji when he was the Prime Minister. It's a BJP program, and the BJD has tried to co-opt it, and now they are getting exposed.
But it's important to throw light on that and enlighten the viewers, because one is only, the perception is that it is Naveen Patnaik's vision. Because his model of governance, Mr. Panda, has been deeply rooted in social welfare, or so he claims.
So, this model of governance has been rooted in taking false credit for union government programs, particularly Modi government programs. You mentioned Biju Swasth Kalyan Yojana.
Yes.
It applies to a few thousand people in Odisha, far smaller benefits than Ayushman Bharat, and denies 45 million people the benefit of Ayushman Bharat, which is 5 lakhs a year for major problems like kidney operations, heart operations. You have millions of Odias being forced to work outside Odisha because there aren't enough jobs here, because there hasn't been development, because of massive corruption. You know, from the Chief Minister's own constituency in Hinjali, lakhs of people have emigrated and are working in Surat. And this government here has the audacity to try to compare itself to Gujarat. If you look at the numbers,
So
if you look at the numbers,
you read my mind, because Mr. Pandian has said that even after 25 years, Gujarat is far behind Odisha in terms of development.
That's utter nonsense. And your viewers deserve better information. All they have to do is just go and search for themselves. Look at the infant mortality rate. Look at various other statistics. There is a reason why millions of people from Odisha are migrating to Gujarat and not the other way around. That puts the lie to that claim.
Now, I wanted to ask you, Mr. Panda, that recently we have seen how Asmita, Odia Asmita, or for that matter, other issues related to the state has taken center stage. You've had the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister locking horns over governance and regional identity. Why has it come down to this? Why do you think that Odia Asmita is under danger? The language, its heritage, its culture is under threat. When he is the undisputed leader, Naveen Patnaik is the chosen one by the people for 5 terms.
As I said at the beginning, the one who got the votes last time, Naveen Patnaik, is not in control, and the people who are in control, to whom it has been outsourced, are not Odias, and their attitude is putting salt on the wounds of the people of Odisha. So ever since Naveen Patnaik has been taken control of, there is a coterie, and this has happened in the last 7 or 8 years. You've had very serious developments. For example, the Ratna Bhandar of Mahaprabhu Jagannath's temple, the treasury, the key has gone missing, and nobody is able to verify whether the huge wealth has been looted or what has happened. The people of Odisha take this very, very seriously.
Do they take this seriously?
They take it extremely seriously, because Mahaprabhu Jagannath is integral to the philosophy of Odia culture. Now, when the Ram Mandir Punarnirman took place, to try to counter that, this coterie tried to do something with the Jagannath temple, where they took the murtis and they put them in auto rickshaws and the back of pickup trucks and moved them around, which is considered a grave insult to the ethos of Odisha, because Mahaprabhu Jagannath only comes out in his chariot, otherwise is in the temple. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples. Totally un-Odia issues are being raised. For example, in that AI deepfake video, an issue has been raised about Odia versus Sanskrit. Now, this is not an Odia ethos. There is no difference, no conflict between Odia and Sanskrit. The rituals at Mahaprabhu Jagannath's temple onwards, everything is rooted in Sanskrit. Now, this is coming from somewhere else, and this is coming not just from the man who controls Naveen Prabhu, but there is a coterie around him, all of whom are non-Odia. And this has been brewing and simmering for many years, and now it has come to a head. And you can go around the villages and ask people, you will see the rage and the anger against this among the common citizens of Odisha.
You mentioned about Ram Mandir. The counter to that is what the BJP accuses the BJP. They ask why accuse the Chief Minister of disrespecting sentiments. when there was so much at stake. He went out there, he built the Sri Mandir Parikrama, something that has only benefited tourism of the states, that has led to an upsurge and increase in devotees. So what would the
Three
BJP
things.
have to say?
We are blaming his controller and the coterie. The Chief Minister doesn't seem to be in any shape to be taking any of these decisions. Now, this coterie has insulted Mahaprabhu Jagannath in the name of doing parikrama renovation by putting the murtis on auto rickshaws and in pickup trucks rather than on his rath, and this is highly insulting to Mahaprabhu Jagannath and to the Odia ethos. That's why we are saying this is the case. Secondly, tourism. It's a sad reflection that Odisha, which has such immense tourism potential, has not seen tourism development, despite this government has been there for 25 years. And there have been project after project that have been on the anvil for 25 years. We have 500 kilometers of coastline which has not been developed. Odisha has a pitiful small number of tourists compared to the national average. Forget about international tourism. Now, after 25 years, if they claim that they're doing something for tourism, it's laughable.
But then the same question can be asked, that why hasn't it been done? Even when
that's the question. That's
Chief Minister was in the prime of his health.
That's precisely what we are asking. That's precisely what we are asking. And they shouldn't be allowed to get away by these blatantly fake claims that they are doing something for tourism when for 25 years they have done almost nothing. And they were just trying to divert attention from the Ram Mandir Punarnirman by doing the renovations of the temple, about which we have no objection. But the manner in which they disrespected Mahaprabhu Jagannath is totally not acceptable to anybody in Odisha.
Mr. Panda, I am just intrigued. I'm curious. You were one of the closest confidants of the Chief Minister, very close relationship. Your families go back in time. What has changed in the relationship between the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister? Both of them, in fact, were seen to share a great chemistry, a good camaraderie. Mr. Naveen Patnaik has, in fact, supported the BJP on some very contentious issues at the centre. And now you have both these big stalwarts trading barbs at one another, attacking each other, the Prime Minister questioning his style of governance, Naveen Patnaik throwing it back, asking the Prime Minister what has he done for the people of Odisha, or for that matter, Odia pride. Why have relations soured? Or are they just restricted to the elections?
No, there is a fundamental difference here. The Prime Minister has gone out of his way to do everything possible for Odisha's development. It's no surprise to you or your viewers that the Prime Minister has put his emphasis and focus on the underdeveloped regions of India, such as the East and the Northeast. He has repeatedly said this. He has visited these areas multiple times. I'll give you one example. There used to be a traditional complaint in Odisha that railways was getting neglected. And for decades, whatever the Odisha government used to ask for, the centre used to allocate less. Starting in 2014, the centre started allocating much more than what the Odisha government had been asking for or was capable of implementing or providing the land for railways development. So the same thing has happened on multiple fronts. Now, yes, the BJD government here has supported issue-based on certain matters in the national parliament, but they're issue-based. There's never been any conditionality, and we have an agenda of new India, where we have a lot of things to achieve. Why should we shun anybody's support if it's issue-based and not conditional? But that has nothing to do with the fact that the BJP, starting from the Prime Minister downwards, is committed to the development of Odisha. And when, despite years of attempts, the BJD government here will not implement Ayushman Bharat and deprive 45 million Odias of a health plan. Every day that I go around in the campaign in the villages, every day I run into dozens of people who have desperate medical needs. They have kidney surgeries that are pending. They have heart surgeries. I recently had an eye surgery. Now, I can afford to take care of it myself, but there are literally lakhs of people in Odisha who are unable to get these benefits because the Odisha government is denying it to them. Literally lakhs of houses have been funded by the Modi government, but the funds are not being taken by the BJP government here to give it to the people of Odisha because of politics. Now, there's a limit to how much cordiality can overcome basic fundamental political objectives. Our objectives is to do away with, you travel around rural Odisha, you will see that still the predominant number of people live in thatched houses which are susceptible to floods, to cyclones, to fires during the summer.
Prime Minister praised Naveen Patnaik for all the rescue work during the cyclones. He in fact called him Lokpriya Chief Minister.
So,
as well.
In Odisha, there has been immense natural calamities over the decades, and the reform of the rescue and relief operations started when there was a BJP government here supervised by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now, that does not mean just because your rescue and relief operations have improved does not mean that you deprive millions of people from pakka ghars from which the Modi government is providing you because of politics. I urge you to go around and show that the majority of people are still living in thatched huts.
I have observed
thatched
that.
huts.
Yes,
whereas you know that crores of houses have been built by the Modi government all over the country. Odisha is well behind. You know that 75% of households in the country today have drinking water through pipes in their homes. Odisha is far behind. There is a limit to how much the Prime Minister or the BJP will tolerate this kind of resistance.
Odisha is not a water deficient state.
Odisha has everything, and its people are being deliberately kept poor and being controlled by a coterie that is not from here.
I wanted to ask you about some other issues which have dominated the national discourse. Just very quickly, the Congress party accusing the BJP of indulging in the politics of hate, something that the BJD is also accusing the BJP. Do you think that, you know, the opposition, the India Alliance, the Congress party is creating some sort of a fierce psychosis, spreading misinformation for vote bank politics, whether it is changing the constitution, scrapping reservations, or introduction of the Citizenship Amendment Act?
I will remind you that our policy of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas, this has been on for 10 years. It's been scrutinized by not just national media, but international media and all kinds of other observers. There has never been a single example of discrimination. The Modi government's yojanas, where hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars have been spent on improving people's lives. 250 million people have been pulled out of poverty. This is being celebrated around the world. There's no discrimination. There's no discrimination against anybody of any religion, against people of different castes. So this is a false allegation. The issue about constitutional changes and people's rights have been explained again and again. So this is a false narrative that the Congress is trying to spew. You know, they go around talking about pyar ka dukaan, and they go around fomenting strife between communities. They go around fomenting anger and hatred between communities, and they want to believe that what they are, they want to reflect that on other people. It's just not true.
You are the son of the soil. One last question. You're such a prominent face of Odisha politics. Your dream, your vision for your state and your constituency, Kendrapara?
That we have lost a generation because people put their faith in BJD and Naveen Patnaik, and it's been 25 years. You know, in 10 years, Modi ji has led India from 11th spot to 5th spot in the world's economies. And in this current next term, he's going to take it to the 3rd place. And India has transformed in the eyes of the world from being a country that always needed other nations' help to now being a country that helps other nations. We helped them during COVID. We have helped them post-COVID with economic assistance. Wherever there's war, we are ahead of all other nations in rescuing our people and also rescuing other nations' people. Now, in 25 years, in Odisha, the BJD government could easily have taken Odisha to number 5 among Indian states. Not only has that not happened, we are not even number 5 from the bottom. We are still at rock bottom on most criteria. Whereas in a generation, we could have come up to at least the top 5, just as the nation has come up under Modi ji, but it's not happened in Odisha. So my dream is that we cannot afford to lose another generation. So if you look at our manifesto, we have given certain clear-cut guarantees, Modi ji's guarantees about what we will achieve in 5 years, and we will put Odisha on the same track as the rest of the country to become a Viksit Bharat and a Viksit Odisha within the time frame that we have guaranteed.
I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much and our best wishes. Mr. Jay Panda, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18.
Thank you.